Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk Preacher Season 1 Finale. Alright, now normally I throw up a couple images as I'm talking, or I'll just leave them on the screen as I'm talking, but recently AMC has been claiming a bunch of videos, and I made a video. I don't know if I'm going to put it up yet. I might post it after this one because it's a long video just rambling about different things as far as it comes to, copyright claims and shit like that. So there's going to be no images in this video, and we might not be reviewing or doing anything as far as Preacher's concerned for a season 2, depending on if AMC is going to continue to do that. And again, I will explain it in the video, but it's not like, oh, AMC pissed me off, so we're going to boycott them. It's not that at all. It's simply saying if AMC is going to take all the ad revenue off all the videos, then we can't make videos anymore, because then I got to, go get a part-time job, go get work overtime to compensate for that before we can use the ad revenue. If it comes to that, I will just simply move over to a different franchise, something else that's hot, and we'll talk about that, discuss that somewhere where they're not going to bug us over still images. Anyway, getting to this season, I really like this episode, and I really like this season. However, right in the middle of it, where God appears in the church, it started pulling me out of it a little bit because of how ridiculous it was, but that is a part of the fun. If you really, really had fun with this episode, that's shit that you're probably stoned out of your mind laughing about. I can see, now that I think about it, I can see stoners probably loving this shit, because you can have the serious moments, you can have some emotional moments, but you don't have to take it so serious, where you could probably be ripped watching this and loving it. So yeah, for some of the action, for some of the seriousness, for the charisma between the actors, again, as far as casting is concerned, I think they did a hell of a job. And even writing. I mean, there's some questionable moments, but as far as the writing, I'll be honest with you, the Donnie in this episode turning around and essentially working and helping Preacher, it answered a problem I had a few episodes back, where he had him dead to rights in the church and he just let him go. He didn't shoot him, he didn't whatever. That was kind of like a plot hole a little bit, but it wasn't that big to where we were sitting here ranting about it. However, he cleared that up just by saying, Preacher let me live. He gave me a chance in that men's room. We had a moment in that men's room. So I couldn't do it in the church. I had to let him go. Whoop-de-whoop. So I really like what they did with Donnie. It was surprising. And then they fooled me again when they have Donnie's wife yelling at the cops like, get this Preacher out of my house. He has my husband brainwashed, yada, yada, yada. For a minute there, I'm like, oh, bitch, your true colors are coming out. And no, they fooled me again, or maybe I was being a fool during this episode and I just didn't see it coming, but they got me. I didn't know they were in the truck. I thought something fishy could have been going on, but for the most part, I thought she was just becoming the villain like Donnie was previously. But anyhow, parts of this, even though I did enjoy it, I did have a lot of fun, there were some parts that felt like it was a cop-out in the end. Because essentially, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, Preacher and Cassidy and Tulip are in a different town over, something like that. Are other people? You know what I mean? As far as Emily and the meat guy, and it made it seem like they are all dead now, right? The whole town is gone. Or were some people living outside of town that didn't die? Because what I'm getting at is they did something so messed up with Emily's character, I thought they were going to continue that in some way and to just erase it. Even like Quincannon, is that his name? Quincannon. I think somebody said I pronounced that wrong and it bothers them. So we're going to continue to call him Quincannon. On one hand, that's the end of his story. That's fine, whatever. But on the other hand, there's some of the characters where I guess maybe I wanted their story to conclude, a little bit later, instead of just explosion, everyone's dead, everyone, like Eugene's dad, like essentially all that is gone now. Emily, Eugene's dad, Quincannon, Donnie and his wife, and I don't know, it just felt like they said, okay, we built all these characters, we're going to, in a way that's a little bit underwhelming, wipe them all out, and then we're just going to follow Preacher, Tulip, and Cassidy. But then on the other hand, it feels perfect. Here's this town with some weird shit, some other disturbing shit. Get to know these characters. We'll hook you, suck you into the story, and then that's just the setup for the three main characters. Let's wipe them out and then go. But then Eugene's in it for the long run, right? Comic fans made it seem like he was. So is Eugene going to come back from hell and be in the next season, and his dad's going to be dead as far as the whole town being wiped out? I don't know. It's interesting. Then we have the cowboy, which I love the cowboy. I love the idea that he's going to be hunting the preacher down in season 2. And I think this is a cliffhanger that is a good one. You get a bunch of deaths, even though this is radically different than a lot of different shows where this, after that now, remember last episode I talked about how this season feels like a build-up and it's propelling us into the second season, and I was hoping, holy shit, last week I said I was hoping we would move on from this town. I didn't expect them to kill everybody, you know what I mean? That's so funny how I'm sitting here debating, man, do I like it? Do I not like it? Because I wanted them. Last week I was like, man, I want this story to build up in season 1 and take us somewhere else in season 2. And that's exactly what they give us, and yet I'm still here thinking, man, could we have gotten more in that town? No, scratch that. I am changing my mind mid-review. Does that happen a lot? Probably not. I'm changing my mind mid-review. I like that they left it where they were building up these characters and we thought there would be more there, especially with Emily. I really thought they were going to take her character into a twisted way. Now, I could be wrong. There could be some of these people that weren't living in that town, that were living near the outskirts of that town, who are still alive. But I like this. As silly as it is, this feels like a show I could come back to when Juliet's off in college and I could smoke so much reefer and barely open my eyes and watch this and bust a gut laughing. This feels like one of those shows, absolutely. And you could go back and revisit it, not having to take it too serious while having a lot of fun with it still. And we got to know these characters in this weird-ass town. It was a nice setup for Preacher, Cassidy, and Tulip, but then in the same strength they were able to wipe out the town after basically wrapping up that story, introducing the idea that God is missing and the angels don't know where he is in that silly way, but in the same strength we're introducing the threat also, and we don't know if that is going to be the main threat for season 2 or a partial threat or maybe not even a threat at all, depending on how that story plays out, but that's going to be the cowboy. And we also have a cliffhanger aspect as far as the future of the story for these three characters. Like, where are they going to immediately right now? Where's the first place they're going to go and look? They have to have some sort of idea. They're just going to hit the road, and that also opens up the exciting possibilities of anything can happen with this show. You know what I mean? I know they got to follow the comics to a certain degree. I know that I understand there's a comic this is based off of. But technically, anything can happen when they're just hitting the open road, going to find God, and either helping him or kicking his ass. I mean, that's some weird, silly stoner shit for real. Alright, listen, I enjoyed it a lot more. I think I even talked myself into liking it more than I originally did when it ended. And as far as the season wrap-up, I do have to give the cast, the entire cast, a lot of credit because I didn't find any weak links in this cast. I think from the minor to the major characters, the mother who had the daughter that Eugene shot, with a dented in skull, to even Carlos, back over to Emily especially. The casting was fantastic, and it helped me fall in love with the show in a major way, because even when the story was starting to wane for me, the cast was there keeping me glued to the screen. So definitely a huge props to the cast. I think all of them did a wonderful job. With that said, I'm very excited to see what's in store for us in Season 2. I can't wait to see them hit the open road, find and or kick God's ass. Put your thoughts and opinions in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.